Fantasy football people, we are back, but this time
What up, y'all?
showing love to the IDP players because
I got you. So I haven't did one in like 2 weeks. My bad, y'all. So I was going through the week, watched a lot of highlights, watched a lot of football. These are kind of people who stuck out to me. Some of them are projection. I'm literally going to do 5-1 as who I would take. Five is more of a projection, and one is more of like forget this dude, right? So number 5, I got Joe Tryon-Shoyinka, the pass rusher from Tampa. I was really big on this dude when he got drafted 2 years ago, and then last year he kind of just was regular. We were really good first 2 weeks this year. He's playing more pressure. He had 2 sacks this week, 3 quarterback hits, 4 tackles. So I like it. I'm pretty sure he's available. If you need a waiver wire dude or whatever, see if he's there for you. Number 4 on my list, I got Dennis Gardeck. He's a pass rusher for the Cardinals. It's another one of those situations where just more playing time is benefiting him. But in all fairness to him, in the COVID season 2020, he had 7 sacks. And then they, brought in JJ, took his spot, did all that. He missed time. Yeah, it was kind of unfair. But he's got 3 sacks and a forced fumble this year.
ooh,
I mean, if that dude's sitting on your waiver wire, you can get him. He's averaging 14 points a game. That's pretty fucking good for a defensive player.
I was about to say, yeah, that's easy points right there.
And at this point, it seems like they're strictly using him for pass rushing, and he's getting a lot of snaps. So to me, he'd be worth taking a look into. Third on my list, we're going secondary. Cameron Bynum, safety for the Vikings. I think Cameron Bynum realizes how bad their defense is, and he's really giving effort. You know what I mean? Like when you watch it, and they're not terrible because they played pretty good against the Eagles. Brian Flores did help that defense a lot. They did actually look good for some time in that game. But he stuck out to me. He has 25 tackles through 2 games, 10 fantasy points a game. If Cameron Bynum's available to you, I'll definitely try to get him. Number 2 on my list, Frankie Louvu, linebacker for the Panthers. Like, he was everywhere last night. He looked amazing to me. He's probably going to lead that team in tackles, 2.5 sacks, 14 tackles through 2 games, averaging 12 fantasy points through 2 weeks. Like, that's good to me because I promise you that he's probably just sitting there.
Yeah.
And number 1 on my list, Divine Diablo, linebacker, the Raiders. 19 tackles, 2 tackles for a loss and a sack. But he was like hurt a long time last year. People really don't realize how good this guy is. He's a linebacker converted to safety, and he's the play caller. He's got the green dot. So he literally has played every snap through 2 games, which means at the very least, if he don't get you turnovers, he's going to get you tackles. Yeah. So, like, this might be one of those guys who he could be the best IDP player on your team if you can get your hands on him. So, I would definitely do that. Just to throw in the Christian Izine kid, the rookie safety from Tampa, also played at Rutgers. Yeah, pick each week. Like, he's kind of a ball hawk. You know what I mean? So if he's out there, I would probably, hey, I'm gonna keep my eye on you.
And I think, like, when it comes to especially IDP, of course, you more than likely people that play IDP drafted a solid player, but if they're not doing production that you want, it's always good to get a guy off the waiver wire. And so I feel like the names you gave out it's funny because some of them are on teams that you wouldn't expect, like Vegas' defense, Vikings defense,
Arizona, Tampa, you know what I mean? But those guys, they're slumming for talent. So the guys who have it are getting run.
Yeah. And that's the thing. I think everybody thinks of best defense, I'm going to grab this guy. But then you got to think also best defense means there's a lot of guys. So that means production is going to go small. The same way we look at offense, where there's too many receivers, sometimes too many defenders. And I think that's where, like, a lot of people don't utilize the IDP especially the waiver wire for it. And I said, I hardly play IDP because it confuses me. Now I feel like I could play it just because you break it down into the sense of it making sense.
Yeah, it's like the complete opposite of offense. Like, everything that is applicable to offense is not to defense, and then to defense is like you just said. It's like you wouldn't think that Just like take our Texans from 2 years ago. Like nobody in the football world knew who Kamal Grugier-Hill was, and then he had all those tackles. So
yeah,
that's how some of these guys are. It's like, hey, you know what? I'm not chasing the name. I'm chasing the production, and this guy's going to give it to me. Like Devon Diablo, he literally played every snap.
and that's, man, production, the snaps that they get, it's hard to find, especially on defense. They're always switching players in and out. So I feel if you can get that, man, those are the steals that you get to win your league, and especially in IDP leagues.
The stuff that I also look at is like, because like the IDP guys that I know who are even like way more versed at like the strategies of the fantasy part of defensive football, like the IDP shit, like they kind of, I feel like they dismiss the cornerback position. But then I start watching like regular football, and say for instance like Christian Gonzalez, rookie corner from Oregon, went to the Patriots. It's like he literally went up with Tyreek Hill and took that ball. It's like, that's a ball hawk move. Like you're aggressive like that. You might be. It's just like Trayvon Diggs from a couple of years ago. It's like, I know you're a corner, but I might take you. You know?
Yeah, and those are the things you have to look at, I think, also. So I know a lot of people when they watch football, they watch the offensive side. Zach is defensive side. Zach will. He loves the defensive games, the 3-and-3 scores. He loves utilizing and watching what the defense schemes are and everything.
That's the real brain part of it. That's the chess part.
Yeah. And so whenever he brings you your IDP stuff, like I said, it took him 2 weeks. It was a lot of it was our fault also. We were doing other stuff. But these are guys that 2 weeks of production is not bad, honestly. It's
Yeah, I'm sure like the real IDP people know who these guys are, but for the average people to IDP, or you're new to it, or you're not sure, like trust me, like I'll stand by these guys. Like if they're available to you for almost next to nothing, it's worth it to me.
Get a roster spot open, go grab one, and see what they can do. I mean, especially if you're not getting production in your IDP, you got nothing to lose at this point. Go grab something and go. You got anything else to drop in, Zach?
No, I'll be more consistent. We'll do one every week.
You're good. Let us know in the comments, people, what IDP questions you have. Let us know any players you want to know about. Zach will always answer them on the YouTube. One way or another. If you got any questions on other fantasy stuff, check out all of our videos. I'll drop a playlist above us on all the fantasy stuff. You can join us every Sunday at 8 in the morning Central Time to break down your roster before it goes live. We'll be here live with you. Just drop the comments. We got you covered, especially IDP questions. Zach will get you covered on those. Much love, people. We are out of here. Later.
How much I'm working for this? I swear my dreams are too important.